Okay, hello everybody. This is Starman, and welcome back to Let's Play Quest for Glory 2 Trial by Fire, the VGA remake, the Thief Path. It is the morning of day 11, and there's not much for us to do story-wise on this day, but there are a few plot-relevant things and some good conversations that we have at the very beginning and end of it. So I'm going to take this day and this video to go talk to all of the people of Shapier and get all of the hidden conversation topics we haven't gotten to already. And if this gets repetitive, I apologize, but I don't quite remember exactly what I've covered before. But we get up, and very first thing, Shamin tells us that the poet is going to be performing tonight and personally wants us to be here because he needs to talk to us after the reading. So we'll go ahead and start with Shamin and all the things I can tell him that have already happened. Little did we know that the weary adventurer who wandered into our Spielberg Inn would be the very person to bring us back home. It is good to be here again. The atmosphere of Shapier is much friendlier than Spielberg. I can tell Shima is much happier now, too. It grieved me to see her so homesick over there. Okay, so that's Spielberg. We can talk about Baba Yaga. You tell about your encounter of Baba Yaga and Spielberg. It is a certainty Baron Stefan von Spielberg is grateful you managed to lift the curse of the vile one, Baba Yaga. We can also tell him about Abdullah. You tell Shima that you enjoyed the journey to Shapier on Abdullah's carpet. It was a memorable experience, was it not? Shima and I enjoyed every minute of it. Even the part where we got buzzed by the Enterprise. Okay, we can also ask him about the fire elemental, or I can tell him about the fire elemental, rather. Shima and I would have lost everything had the Thing of Flame set our in ablaze. We are greatly in your debt, hero friend. And air elemental. Glad you could do what the Sultan's guards could not. We can also talk about the inn. You tell Shmin that the inn is a very comfortable place to stay and thank him for allowing you to reside here at their expenses. Setting up this inn would have taken us considerably longer without your assistance. Shima and I would not have been able to have come back to this lane without your help. We were happy to return your favors in some small way. And we can also, we already talked to him about the dance, we can talk about Omar. You tell Shima that you enjoyed listening to Omar's poetry. As do we, my friend. Performances like his are what Shima and I truly missed in Spielberg. Yeah, Spielberg, not exactly a cultural haven. We can also tell him about Aziza. She is not very often seen in public very often, but she is widely known for her wisdom, and the Sultan often consults her for advice on matters concerning the arcane. We can also talk about Rakesh. It is rare to see a liontar around these parts. Most of them are too proud to mingle with other species. We can also, and that's pretty much it for the moment. But we'll go ahead and sit down for breakfast because Shima has something special to say to us today as well. It is rumored that you wish to journey to Razir. If you do so, please try to find my cousin Sharaf. I'll go ahead and greet. Thank her for everything. And we ask about the daily news. And there goes Sharaf. His name means honor. He is very brave. It is said that he refused to leave Razir so that he could work to bring freedom to his homeland again. And underground, new dog, is a movement to overthrow the current government of Razir and restore the old ways. But beyond that, I think we told her about the air elemental before. Yeah, I assured her that it was harmless. Let's see, for Shima, we can also tell her about the inn. She smiles. It is the least me and I could do after you helped us to return to our home and set up the Cottage-Tail Inn. I am most pleased to hear you are content with what we have to offer. Was it not exciting? Before we traveled to Spielberg, I always wondered how it would be to fly through the air and watch the land from above. I'd hoped that Abdullah would not sell the carpet to the Sultan. I'd love to re-experience such a ride once more. And we can also tell her about Baba Yaga. You were most brave and wonderful to defeat such an evil user of magic, my hero. Normally I would have been excited to see such a new and unfamiliar land, but the town of Spielberg was small and we could not venture outside because of the monsters in the forest. Shamin and I did not adjust well with Spielberg's citizens. I barely went outside, there was nowhere to venture, and I could not grow accustomed to the cold climate. The only entertainment venue was that seedy tavern. I am most happy to be back in Shapier again. It is you who made that possible. Okay, so we got that, got Abdullah. I've told her about the fire elemental before, I know, but... Yes, everybody's talking about it. Thank you very much for saving our beloved inn. Even the prospect of losing our home possessions and source of income worried me greatly. I only wish that we could repay your bravery with more than food and shelter. And... we can ask her about Aziza as well. She seems like a good person, although maybe a little bit intimidating too. And we asked her about her dance the last time, but we can talk about Omar. He is very good, and I'm very glad he comes here. He is nice sometimes to sit back and enjoy another's performance. And that is actually, we can tell her about Rakesh as well. Word has it that he was once a great king, yet now he lives the life of a commoner. How humble he must be. And again, the reminder, Omar will be here this evening. And I don't think we've talked to Lisha about everything we can do. Actually, there's nothing to tell her, but there are a few things we can ask her about. Because once Ali Chica disappears, she can give us directions to almost every place, it looks like. So we can ask her about money. The only coins we can accept are the dinars and centimes of Shapier. We can also ask about the money changer. The money changer will give you the dinars and centimes with which you need to purchase things in this land. She is on Dinar Tariq. Okay, she won't give us directions. We can ask about the palace. The palace is where the Sultan Harun al-Rashid resides. We can ask about the baskets. Saba sells sturdy baskets in the Plaza of the Fountain. And most of what we run through is just asking where to buy different things and which of her relatives happens to carry them. So we can also ask about Shapier. Most friendly place to reside. We can ask about Razir. There were once many kata in Razir. When the new emir took over, he drove the people away. We can ask about the emir. The emir Aris of Razir was a friendly man who chatted daily with the kata merchants in the plaza. We mourn the loss of such a one. We can also ask about rumor. It is told that a hero from the north will come to restore the kata to their home in Razir. So did Shima and Shamin travel to find such a one. And yeah, she does not have astrologer, although it would help if I spelled it right. Okay, maybe not. The Kata respect the Sultan very much. Shima is most wise and clever. He is a very brave and daring Kata. Ask about Shima and Shamin. We can also ask about the magic shop. Plaza of the Fountain. Apothecary and Plaza of the Fountain. And west side of the Plaza of Fighters. The Kata know about little magics, practical magic. Perhaps you might ask at the Shop of Magic. Okay. Oh yeah, we did that one already. And we can also ask about the Bazaar. Let's try that without the apostrophe. Oh wait, Bazaar only has one Z, doesn't it? We merchants set up the bazaar in all the plazas. And we can also ask about the desert. Our people have always lived in the deserts around here. Well, so yeah, most of what the merchants have to say that you type in, not the most insightful comments, but I do have one more reason for coming to the lever merchant. Purchase another water skin for later. Now Mirak, again, we can't really tell him anything. And most of his options are the same as Lish's. Just ask about money, same thing. And yeah, pretty much the same thing. So I guess we really don't need to say anything to the merchants at all. But just make sure there's nothing else going on. We will and let's go ahead and fill up our water skins. Now we've got a new full one. And yeah, still no extra items from Slory and Scory. And we do have the same list of stuff that we can ask them about, which basically comes down to finding out where different things are. And there is, however, a special line for one of the other merchants, Toshor. She's across the plaza. Easy enough. Well, rather than launch through all of that, I think we will make one quick trip out to the desert. You see a Sharky traveling casually down Sharik Darb. Yeah, this would be a monster from number one of the AGS games. Your hand make a nice appetizer for him. You wisely decide to withdraw your offering. Because, yeah, there is one point in the desert we will have to go to shortly. And, yep, there's a caravan which will pass by us 6 days from now. If you wish to enter Razir, you will need to join it. They seem awfully anxious to get rid of me all of a sudden, don't they? At any rate, you'll remember a couple of videos back we encountered the Griffin Nest, which is due west of the Shapier Overlook. But we didn't head all that far to the east, and there is another point of interest here. Although, how much would you be willing to bet we run into a scorpion now that I can't make money from killing them? Any takers? Well, we managed to get here without incident. And as you can tell from the dramatic music cue, there is something important here, involving this tree that looks like a woman. And I think once we see the tree, we can ask Aziza about it. Of course, we have another way of finding about it and being sent to her, but this will save us some time later. And more importantly, take up some time today. So we'll leave that for the guard to put up. So first things first, greet her. And of course we will have tea. Okay, now running through the list of things I can tell her about, which I'm pretty sure I already did most of these. Yeah, remember this conversation, and we told her about Baba Yaga. I don't think I had a chance to tell her about the air elemental, though. You relate the tale of how you imprisoned the air elemental. You handled the creature well. It won't be a threat. It won't be much of a threat anymore inside those bellows. And we can tell her about the other elementals when we get to them, but we can also talk about the inn. You tell Aziza about how you met Shamin and Shima in Spielberg and how they convinced you to accompany them to Shapier after the reward ceremony at Spielberg Castle. It is admirable how far your friends have traveled to help their people. We can also talk about Omar. I agree he's the most talented poet. He even performs at the palace sometimes. And we can tell her about herself, which didn't get much of a response. But we can also tell her about the tree. Or actually, we need to ask her about the tree. That is indeed a sad tale. Let me show you of that of which we speak. I will tell you of a time long ago when women wore veils and were but wives and chattel to men. There was a woman, a beautiful woman, a loving woman, who wished with her very soul to become a healer and thus aid others. Just the facts, ma'am. Her father tried to dissuade her, saying this was no task for a woman of her gentleness and her sensitivity. She would go about her duties quietly, but each evening she would tell him again that she wished to become a healer. At last her father gave in, and she was trained in the art of healing despite the jeers and condescension of the male students and teachers. She became a healer and removed her veil forever. Right? She soon discovered that life was not easy for a woman healer. Many men distrusted her skills and refused to call upon her. Some men called upon her only to try and take advantage of her beauty. One day a man came to her and told the tale of his brother dying in the desert. She did not quite trust his manner of looking at her, but she could not refuse aid to one who might need it. She followed him out of the city and into the desert. She was led to an encampment of ragged tents. She soon learned to her sorrow that the tale of the brother was but a lie. These were brigands, and what they did with her I shall not say. She tried to escape from them the next day and ran into the mountains to hide. They were swift to follow. They had nearly recaptured her when she called aloud for help. A jinn heard her cry and transformed her into a tree. There are 3 things you must give her to save her soul: a gift of kindness, a gift of magic, and a gift of love. The gift of kindness is simple. It is only what you would give to someone who has been in the desert far too long. You must then tell her about yourself. Remind her of what it is to be human. Your words are as important as the gift, for they give meaning to the act. I know you can achieve the gift of kindness, but you do not yet have a suitable gift of sacrifice. Perhaps you will be able to do this at another time. Well, thank her for that information. And as far There's other things we can ask her about. We can ask about Rakesh. Rakesh is very wise and experienced. He is still a great hero despite his age. There is much an adventurer such as yourself can learn from him. We can also ask about Paladin. Maybe that's me telling her. A paladin is one who lives with honor and courage throughout life, so I can pretty much forget it. And I can also ask her about... This only comes up if you're reading the Famous Adventures Correspondence book, but... I think I spelled it wrong. Suleiman bin Daud was the mightiest and wisest of the magician kings of ancient times. Yeah, his name will come up later. And we can also, although this name only comes up if you're playing as a wizard at this point, actually we'll save it for later. Spoiler, because I just remembered how you do hear his name as a thief and can ask about it later. So we'll just go ahead and thank Aziza again, say goodbye. And I think just to save us some time, we will go ahead and give Jolnar the first of the 3 gifts. You can do it all in one go, but it's day 11. We got some time to kill. And I have nothing else to do but try and build up my luck skill, which is almost maxed out. And probably one more day of practice in the... Have I got any rocks left? I do. I'm just barely keeping the pace of that thing. Okay, well, so much for me trying to throw rocks at it to death. Aha! Booyah! Well, this is easy enough. The water, as you pour it out onto the ground, vanishes quickly into the soil and vanishes. The tree does not respond. Tell about yourself. You start to tell the plant about yourself and your adventures. You mention how much you wish to be a hero and how hard it has been to become one. You then tell her about your experiences in Spielberg with the Dryad and how you aided her by getting the seed of the spore-spitting spray. You tell her about how and why you came to Shapier, and how all the friends you made in this land of Shapier, and all the fun you've had here. Finally, you mention that you were here giving her water as a simple act of kindness that it might ease her thirst. And yeah, that tree just spun around, and you admire the way she rotates her crops. That's all we can do at the moment, but we are on the road to being able to fully help her. So we'll go ahead and return to the city. I can't open the gate while riding the Saurus. Of course. Silly of me to try. But with that done, we'll go ahead and head on over to the plaza. Rakesh is not camped out front today. Rakesh not be here today, hero. He be speaking with the Sultan. They talk about more elements coming down soon. And let's go ahead and ask about elementals. Okay, so Uhura cannot tell us anything about the elementals, but we got a decent bit of stamina. I think we'll close this out with me showing you one match, and I honestly will try and fight her this time, because I got about half my stamina. This should be fair. And then I will finish grinding luck off camera and hopefully get that done before the end of day 11. Because I know it's been a bit dull the last few days since the air elemental fight, at least so far as you're concerned, because I skipped over most of the boring stuff. But things are going to pick up, and we're going to have a lot to do in the last few days before we head to Razir. So, challenge. And now, let us fight. Aha! Well, at least I stuck the dismount. Pterosaurus is strong but stupid. Takes a while before it knows it is dead. Alright, well, that boosted our luck by a couple of points. We currently have 49 health 18 stamina. That should be more than enough to help me on the way, but I'm going to go ahead and stop this video here. And next time, we will open with Omar the Poet and his new performance. See you then.